expected. If you were nice, then that'd be like that's the unexpected. You know what I'm saying?
You look great today.
Don't lie. Is that a lie or a fib?
You're being nice.
Oh, all right. Well, good morning.
Can you get into the decision to release Mack Hollins? What went into that decision?
I'll tell you this: that I know kind of where that line of questioning is headed. There's not a decision that is made with this roster that Howie and I don't discuss first, obviously. Whether it's practice squad, whether it's active roster, or whether it's to bring a guy in for a workout or whatever it might be. And we also feel like that some of our younger players, JJ, Greg, have earned or at least deserved an opportunity. And again, you got to make some tough decisions, but it's because of some discussions that we've had here in the past few weeks.
Who makes that final decision?
Well, ultimately, it goes down Howie's path, but again, we talk and we agree and we make those decisions together.
It does seem, though, this year there have been a lot of players that have been released after playing significant time. Is there a disconnect between Howie and the coaching staff in terms of the value of these players?
No, I don't feel that way at all. Again, we're making decisions in the best interest of the Philadelphia Eagles.
What type of challenge does that present, though, Doug, when you have guys who are contributors one week and then gone the next in terms of handling that within the locker room and things of that nature?
Well, I mean, obviously, I think the locker room standpoint, I mean, players know what type of business that we're in. Coaches the same way, and I think that. Again, if I stand in front of the team and keep constantly saying that we are going to make decisions in the best interest of the Philadelphia Eagles and the players that are in the room, then we move on from it. And we understand that sometimes tough decisions have to be made.
Why is it, though, that some of these guys have played so much and then, the week after?
It's funny that you're asking me these questions when a few weeks ago you were asking about production. So. It's.
Is it production? I mean, is that the answer?
No, it's not the answer. But I mean, we were talking about production, and now I've got some young guys that are playing and contributing, and we talk about every player on our roster, obviously, and we have to make decisions, and they're tough decisions for the team.
Doug, do you have to change your approach? Do you have to change the way you talk to your players? What do you have to change this week going forward if you're trying to save the season and you're trying to salvage a playoff run here? You guys are obviously dying to win.
Yeah, I mean, the main message is, listen, we're in a must-win situation. We know that, and really it started last week, and really coming out of the bye, if you want to think about it, and go back a few weeks, but. For me, it's I got to stay the course. I got to stay transparent. I got to stay as honest as I can with the team, the integrity. Talk about the character of the team and all of that with them, and say, listen, guys, we're in that must-win situation right now, and you can't. It's as much on us as coaches as it is players, and so I look to that as well. We're responsible for how our players play, and that starts with me. So I hold my coaches accountable first, and then obviously it goes down to the players. But everybody's on board, everybody's on the same page. That's the one thing that I appreciate about these guys.
How do you hold coaches accountable?
Well, you hold them accountable by the way their position plays, number one. All these things that I do at the end of the season and go back when I evaluate, which is probably the next question out of your mouth. But I do it that way, and I'm up front with the coaches from day one, from all the way back to OTAs when we're coming out of that off season before OTAs, and I make a statement with the coaches, and I'm probably giving you more information than you need, but I want to be up front with them as well and say, listen, your performance is based on your players, right? And how well they perform. And obviously they can't control injury and all of that. And that's where it starts. So the message is clear early in the season. It's just not now. It's been addressed earlier in the year.
I would imagine it's hard to do in season when you have so much to do. So is that more of something that you sort of look at the full scope of it when the season is over?
Yeah, and that's why you look back, when the season's over and you make those evaluations. I'm evaluated. in my performance. Obviously, I have to evaluate, my staff and all that. So those are things that we'll do at the end of the year.
Has anything changed with Jordan Howard?
No,
So he still hasn't been cleared for contact?
correct.
Is this something that could be a season-ending injury at this point? Before games
I don't believe so.
Doug, you've been a position coach. What makes a good position coach?
I think in thinking about myself, obviously you got to be prepared. You got to have answers, for the questions that the players might have, whether it be a game plan question or maybe a concept question offensively. You got to be well prepared. You got to be dialed in. Obviously, if you don't have the answers, you got to be up front and say, hey, let me get the answer for you. I think you have to pay attention to detail. And then it's got to carry over. Excuse me. It's got to carry over onto the field through drill work, putting your players in position through that drill work that's going to transpire in a game. And for me as a quarterback and a quarterback coach, that was the that's what I tried to do, was put our quarterbacks in position to make plays in a game and move in the pocket and all that kind of stuff. But the detail is the biggest thing.
When you evaluate the coaches after the year, is it just you evaluating them, or do you lean on other people in those evaluations?
It's primarily myself. Obviously, again, I'm going to be evaluated first, right? And then I can evaluate the staff from there.
Doug, you've often described your relationship with the players as one of your strengths as a head coach. When you looked at the players at the team meeting, I guess it was today or yesterday.
Today,
do you feel like
yesterday,
you still have the locker room behind you?
I do. I really do.
And why?
Because I can sense, I can just sense and feel, the energy of the group. Listen, we're all disappointed and we're all sick to our stomach. But they also understand, we've done this to ourselves, obviously. And they're ready to go back to work. And I sensed that yesterday. I sensed it again today. And of course it's, again, it's my job I've got to bring that energy, bring that juice so that they can see me in that light. And then that's what spreads out through the rest of the team. But yeah, these guys are with me.
And getting back to Jordan,
a root issue or two that has gotten you to this place, so you know where to move forward.
Well, I think again it has to start. It has to start, and I know this is probably for you guys a broken record, but it has to start with me. I've got to look at my performance and how am I preparing the team? How we practice during the week? Am I doing enough there? In-game decisions. I got to look at that first, and then I've got to see. And we can't control obviously injury. We know this is a violent sport, and we're gonna miss some guys from time to time. But how well as coaches do we prepare the next guy? And so I got to look at that and make sure those guys are prepared. And then as we get into games, how are we making adjustments? And are we making adjustments in game in all three phases to try to be successful?
Carson have been together for
What have your takeaways been from your evaluation of yourself, and how do you change things as the year's gone on?
Is the season over?
Well, you said you evaluate yourself. You look in the mirror.
I understand. We do play a game on Monday night, but anyway.
Sure, but
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we save those for maybe the end of the year?
Doug,
Thank you.
you and Carson have been together for 4 years now. How has the way you coach him evolved over those 4 years?
I think as our relationship has grown, and he getting to know me and me getting to know him, I think we can, we can be hard on each other. I can be hard on him, he can be hard back on me, and I think that's the dynamic of a good quarterback, head coach, play caller, relationship. I look at the Sean Paytons and Drew Brees and their relationship, and it's one of those give and take type relationships back and forth. And I think of Andy Reid with Mike Holmgren. Brett Favre and Mike Holmgren, and then obviously with Andy and how Andy coached us and different things. But I think having that relationship, that's where you open dialogue, communication. where he understands where I'm coming from, I understand where he's coming from, and we can work through both the positive and the negative issues.
Is it more of a partnership now and less student-teacher than it was in the first couple of years?
One more time.
Is it more of a partnership now and less of a student-teacher relationship than maybe it was the first 2 years?
Yeah,
or
but
so?
I still think you got to have some of that, student-teacher relationship because he's still learning and he's still growing as a quarterback and understanding this game. So that's where, for me as a teacher, I can continue to help him grow as a student.
It seemed going into the bye, you were real kind of proud of the offensive identity with Jordan and with the way the running game was going. Have you had to change your approach as a play caller during these last 3 weeks, not having Jordan on the field?
Jordan brings a different style, I guess, just his dynamic style. He's more of an in-between the tackles guy. I think one thing you saw this past week with Miles is he's capable of doing that a little bit. He's a one-cut guy or a jump cut guy, make the first guy miss and continue on. He had some really good runs that way. And listen, the run game, it does change from week to week based on structure of defense too. So, that changes just a little bit, and really in these last 3 games, the style of the defenses and the structure that we faced, so that changes as well.
Doug, the last 3-4 weeks, and this is from the naked eye, I could be wrong, but it looks like Carson's passes, just something seems off. Do you agree with that? If so, what do you think's going on? Is it the receivers? Is Wentz's ball sailing? Just something just seems like it's off. And I don't know if you feel that as well.
We know that quarterbacks are we'd love for them to be 100%. That's be great if you're 100% completion in a game. There are things. There's a lot of factors that go into throwing the football, and it's not just the quarterback and having a good arm and making good decisions and moving in the pot. The protection has to be right. The receiver has to and be dialed in on the right route. We got to coach the quarterback. His eyes have got to be in the right spot. So there's a lot of factors that go into the passing game, and all that can affect accuracy. But at the bottom line, as a play caller, I can help that, right? I can help that with maybe moving him out of the pocket like we did a little bit in the game on Sunday, or these last couple of weeks with screen passes, or short to intermediate throws where the quarterback can get into a little bit of a rhythm, kind of settles everybody down, tempo offense. So there's so many factors that can go into that can help a quarterback be a little more successful there.
Thanks, Doug.
Thank you, guys.